When you hear Saxony, Germany, you're probably thinking of stunning landscapes, maybe some incredible culture. But underneath all that, there's another story playing out. It's a tough battle against organized crime and, at the same time, a deep struggle for human recovery. Let's dig into this hidden conflict that's really shaping this historic state.
So there it is. That's the core conflict, right there. On one hand, you've got this place celebrated for its amazing heritage. But on the other, it's become what German authorities call a Brennpunkt, a real hotspot for serious drug crime. So how can both of these things be true at the same time? Let's find out. Okay, so let's start with this whole hotspot thing. While visitors are taking in the sights, law enforcement is deep in a hidden drug war. This has really made the state a focal point for a dangerous and, frankly, a highly organized trade. And of course, in any war, you've got a front line. In this case, it's law enforcement. So now we're going to look at how the police are staging a major crackdown on the organized gangs that are fueling this whole crisis. And this isn't just some abstract idea. We're talking about real on-the-ground action. Take Leipzig, for example. A huge raid there took down a professional drug gang, seizing kilograms of cannabis and ecstasy. And it's not just a big city problem either. Out in the more rural Erzgebirge region, police hit several apartments, arresting dealers who were pushing cocaine and that incredibly dangerous crystal meth. And here's what's so important about these raids. We're not talking about a few small-time isolated dealers. No way. This is solid proof of highly organized drug rings running their operations across the entire region, from the big cities all the way to the small towns. But look, this explainer isn't just about crime stats and police raids. It's really about the human cost. And to get that, you have to understand the specific danger of synthetic drugs, which are a massive part of this story. And at the absolute center of this crisis is one drug in particular, crystal meth. Because it's synthetic, it can be cooked up just about anywhere. But its real danger, it's the psychological grip it has. Experts point out there's a huge demand for drugs that enhance performance and alter consciousness. And crystal meth, well, it delivers on that in the most devastating way possible. And the fallout for people who use it, it's just brutal. This isn't some slow decline we're talking about. It's a total, rapid collapse. The drug can set off intense paranoia, severe psychosis, and it's all accompanied by a shockingly quick physical and mental breakdown. It's that speed, that severity, that makes the rise of crystal meth such an urgent public health crisis. Hearing about raids and all this devastation, it can start to feel pretty bleak. But that's not the whole story. There's another front in this war, one that isn't focused on punishment but on recovery. And this is where the story really takes a hopeful turn. At the same time it's fighting crime, Saxony is also becoming a pioneer. The state isn't just reacting anymore, it's getting ahead of the problem, developing brand new, innovative ways to offer real addiction support and help people get their lives back. So how are they doing it? Well, they've got this really smart, coordinated system. First up, they've centralized all the information through a state office for addiction dangers, the SLS. It just makes it easier to find help. Next, they're integrating treatment. They're holding events like Psychiatry Day in Dresden, with the whole point being to connect addiction services directly with mental health care. And finally, they're making sure support is accessible to everyone, totally free and completely anonymous. So what this all points to is a huge shift in thinking. The goal is to stop looking at addiction and mental illness as two separate problems. Instead, they're tackling them as one, single, unified challenge. And that holistic approach, that's what gives real hope for a more effective, lasting recovery. And really, it all boils down to this incredibly powerful message, one that's right at the heart of Saxony's recovery efforts. Du bist nicht anders, du bist nicht allein. You are not different, you are not alone. It's a message of empathy, and it's a promise that recovery is always possible. And it leaves us with a really important question. Could Saxony's dual approach, this mix of tough enforcement and really radical empathy, could that be the blueprint that other regions so desperately need to fight their own hidden wars?